Well, here's another video on study abroad. So I wanted to talk about culture, I guess would be a good thing. Some people, when they look into study abroad, they're already familiar with some cultural aspects of other countries. That may be part of your decision-making process. It was not part of mine. I was open and willing to learn the culture of whatever program I was accepted into, or whatever program matched up with my academic needs. And so what I did, because I want to be respectful to whatever country I go to, I decided to do some research. And I think it's important that we think about the people who are hosting us. Some of the things that we find normal in daily life here are not normal in other places. And once you have decided on a location or program, my suggestion would be to do as much research as possible. For myself, what I did is I got onto my Amazon Prime, and I searched the words Thailand. I searched the words Chiang Mai. I searched, Thai, or I don't know. That's probably what I searched. Anyway, oh, study abroad. That's another one. Study abroad, Thailand. Did stuff like that. So sometimes I would get documentaries. Sometimes I would get like YouTube videos like this. Sometimes, I would just, there's some little channels that are on Prime that I had no idea were even there, that are specific to specific countries. And so they were little videos of their lantern ceremony that they have, or of certain temples that are around. And it just got me a little more familiar. But something that helped me tremendously to understand the Thai culture as best as I can before I go, because I know there'll be things I learn once I get there, was I got this book. I don't know if you can see it with the light, but it's called Culture Shock Thailand. And these people, Robert and Nasapa Cooper, wrote this book after living in Thailand. What's beautiful is that this is a series. And so I also was able to get one for India, Culture Shock India, and learn from that book as well. Some of this very simple things that we take for granted. In Thailand, one of the things you do not do is you don't touch people on the head. It is like the source, it's the spiritual spot, it's the cleanest spot on the head. So even a small child that is cute as can be and you want to rub their head, you don't do that in Thailand. Another thing that you don't do is you don't point. There's no pointing in Thailand. You use your hands like this, or you nod, or, you give, you try some other way, which as a Westerner, I believe that's I'm gonna mess up a couple times. I'm probably going to mess up a couple times. But that's okay. As long as the attempt is there, the awareness is there. I think it's important. I also think that when deciding where to go, or once you've decided where to go, looking into the language. If you are someone who is not familiar with the language of where you're going to possibly get an app to learn some really basic things like, hello, goodbye, where is, how do I, restroom, food, water, things like that, can just help you get by while you're there. Now, I know for our program, we do have a resident director who is a native of Thailand. And so she's going to be helping us in a lot of different ways. But when I'm out on my own or with another classmate and we are exploring somewhere, just those little things will be extremely helpful to us. Another thing that I learned was how to greet in Thai, and how to say thank you. Thailand's a little bit different. Their culture's a little bit different. The thank you is implied. So you can say it, But usually you only use it in the context of something massive, something that's a really big deal, not when, the cashier hands you your change back, you don't say thank you to them. It's just assumed that you have thanked them. So little things like that are super duper important. I don't want to offend people. I want to become as much of a part of the community as possible. And you'll have to decide how much you want to do that. There are programs that are completely taught in the native language. So the program that I chose, they teach in English. They are actual professors or employees of the program provider I'm going through. So they teach in English. They sometimes are Thai natives, most times are Thai natives, but they teach specifically the exchange students that are coming over. So, but there are other programs that, if you want to fully immerse and you want to dive in headfirst with being taught in the language and everything, those are available too. They're also, those programs are available for somebody who might already know the language. So, if you know French really well, it would be a great idea to go to France and just learn more. So those were important things I wanted to touch on. Again, these books, Culture Shock. If you're trying to find them, just look up Culture Shock and then type the name of the country you're going to. The books tend to have a little bit of a sense of humor about them. So they make it light, which is really nice. I know that I finished the one for India. I'm still working on this one, but I have 14 days of quarantine coming up. So, in Thailand, so I'll be reading this there. Anyway, that's another piece to just touch on. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments. I will definitely answer them. I have got 8 days before I head out for Thailand, so I will keep checking in. Thanks, guys.